Imagine with every step you take comes a striking pain in your knee. Your knees ache constantly throughout the day, every day. Now, if I told you that that pain is caused by a small tear in the tissue of your knee joint, it's prescribed by surgeons to remove that tear. Now, doesn't that sound like the logical thing to do if a surgeon prescribed it? But does it sound too good to be true? That the pain will disappear when you remove that tissue? And that's because, unfortunately, it is. You see, that tissue that has been recommended to remove from your knee joint is cartilage tissue. And cartilage tissue is somewhat between soft tissue and hard tissue. Think of your ear, that's cartilage tissue. And that's found within your knee joint. It's found between the two bones. And that's called meniscus tissue. And this meniscus tissue provides shock absorption when you're walking and running. And you see, the problem is when you remove this shock absorber from your knee, you get bone-on-bone contact and you develop osteoarthritis within your knee joint. And if you think about it, it's not okay to take the shock pads out of our cars. So why is it okay for surgeons to take the shock pads out of our knees? And the simple answer is it isn't, but it's the only option that surgeons have. You see, that cartilage tissue is a very complex structure. The issue with it is that it's only partially vascularized. And what that means is that only the outer region has a blood supply to it. And this leads to a very poor healing potential. If you think about the last time you got cut, it bleeds, a scab is formed. And under this scab, cells gather and repair the tissue. But the problem with the meniscus is because there is a limited blood supply, and a tear most often occurs in the inner region when there is no blood, it cannot heal itself. And that's why surgeons remove the tissue from the joint, because it will never heal. So what my project is focused on is trying to develop an implant that's porous. And what porous means is that the implant will have little holes in it, and that instead of removing the tissue from the joint, you would trim back the tissue to hit that blood supply. And in that region, you would implant the porous scaffold. And being porous will allow the blood to come through, bringing cells with it. And as these cells infiltrate through, it will begin to repair the tissue. So it will reduce the need to remove the tissue from the joint and reduce the risk of developing osteoarthritis. So you see, what I'm trying to do is give patients with a cartilage tear the chance to have a second option in their treatment. Thank you.